you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have a story time for you guys. As you can already tell from the title of this video, I am going to be telling you how I met my boyfriend. Since Valentine's Day is right around the corner, I wanted to give you guys a beautiful love story of my own, and I wanted to share that with you guys. It is something that is very near and dear to my heart, so for me to be opening up about this, it means a lot to me. So when telling stories, it's only fair that I give you all the details and all the background information. This story takes place over a span of 4 to 5 years. I know, seems like a very long time. I've been dating my boyfriend for about 2 years and roughly 5 months. So our relationship hasn't been too long, but I mean, honestly, it feels like it's been a lifetime. I feel like I've known him for my whole life. And I know that that sounds like cheesy and cliche, but when you find someone that just gets you, that just understands you, that is just basically you, but in another body, whether it be male or female, it's just truly an amazing feeling. And when you meet that person, it just feels right. You just know. I don't know, I feel like I'm rambling, but you just know. That's something that you want to keep in your head for the rest of this video. This story takes place around 7th grade. Literally all the girls my age had dated someone by the time they had reached 7th grade. And if they were popular, they literally dated like 17 of them and like 12 of them. Not even kidding. And me being the awkward, shy, antisocial little girl that I was back then, I had not had my first boyfriend until 7th grade. Throughout 5th and 6th grade, while I was watching all my friends get boyfriends, I was like, I am such a loser. Like, nobody wants to be with me, nobody likes me. All the guys I like think I'm a freak. Like, so I'm like, hello, where's my time? And 7th grade rolled around and I got my first boyfriend. My first relationship didn't last too long, as you know, most don't. At the beginning of 7th grade, I got my first boyfriend. We lasted for about a month and then we broke up. And then I didn't get another boyfriend until 7th grade year ended, and then in that summer of 7th grade ending, I got my second boyfriend. Let's call him Chase. So I met Chase in 7th grade, I believe, and then we started talking, and then obviously that led to the relationship that we had. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh my god, I was never in love with him, like I broke up with him, like, because it's not true, it's a lie, and I'm only here to tell the truth on my channel. I'm not trying to exaggerate anything, I'm not trying to say something that isn't real. All I want here is the absolute truth, and I'm just trying to keep it real, you know? When you find your first love, like, oh my god. But when you find your first love, everything just seems so glamorous, so new, so fresh. And I was over here thinking, since we were like dating in the summer, I was Sandy and he was Danny, and we're gonna drive off into the sunset and grease lightning. As the summer ended, we went into 8th grade, and then we were the big bad 8th graders. We were 8th graders. We thought we were so cool. We thought we were like seniors in high school. The 8th graders were the seniors. That meant that the 7th graders were the freshmen. And we literally called them Sevies, short for 7th grader. My mom has been a single parent for years now, so she had a lot of trouble picking me up from school when I was younger. It was really a hassle for her to come get me because she got off of work at 6 and I got off at school at 2, so it was sort of impossible for her to come get me. So I stayed after school for an after-school program after school. Duh. And I would go there, they would have classes, activities to do, games to play, blah blah. So yeah, I would stay after school a lot during my 8th grade year. And it was actually pretty cool because a lot of my friends stayed after school. Like, it was like a thing, like it was really cool for some reason, but we all did it and it was fun. There was one day that I remember that I was really bored. So I look over at the lunch table, like we had lunch tables outside, and I look over at the table, I see my friend, we'll call him Daniel. And Daniel was sitting at the lunch tables with some other person, and I had no idea who he was, but I just walked over there because I was bored. I go over there and I'm talking to them. I say hi. I ask Daniel, like, oh, like, what are you guys doing, you know? And he just laughs, and I'm like, why are you laughing? Like, you know, and he doesn't answer me. So then I ask his friend, I'm like, what are you guys doing? Because I see that there's a piece of paper in front of them and they have pencils and they're writing something down. And I'm like, well, what are you guys doing? And no one was answering me. So I ask his friend, and he's like, we're writing a rap. And as funny as that may seem in this moment, that line that he just said, we're writing a rap, was so intriguing to me. Like, I don't know, like back then in 7th grade and 8th grade, rapping was like big. Like all the artists like Drake and Lil Wayne, like they started like blowing up in like our little minds. And so everyone was hyping them up in school, and so everyone wanted to be a rapper. Everyone wanted to rap after school and make their own raps and have rap battles. And so if a guy were to be like, yeah, I rap, then like girls would literally be like, oh my god, like marry me, like I love you. It's kind of ridiculous, but that was how it was. And then I look at this guy and I'm like, he looks really familiar. And it turns out that I actually had him in my 7th grade history class, and he hung out with the more popular kids. He hung out with the cool athletic boys who were friends with the popular, pretty, oh my god, like Facebook queen, like literally when Facebook was everything, Facebook queen, like, so I never talked to him, you know, because we just hung out with different people, different crowds. So I never talked to him, but I always thought he was very different because I noticed right off the bat that he wasn't like them. Like yes, he played sports, but he wasn't like all those other boys. He was just very mysterious and quiet and reserved. And none of his other friends were really like that. So that's why it sort of interested me, but I never talked to him. So then we're sitting there and I kind of just forget that Daniel is there, and I just start talking to this guy and I'm like, don't I have you for English? Like I'm all playing dumb as shit, because I did. I had him for English class 8th grade year. And even though I knew damn well that I had him for English, I was like, don't I have you for English? He said, yeah, I already knew his name, but I asked him anyways, and he said, my name is Endry. To this day, a lot of people have trouble spelling and saying his name, and I never had trouble saying it, never had trouble spelling it. I thought that was such a beautiful and unique and handsome name. And I'm not even kidding, like, okay, I'm gonna tell you guys something, but don't fucking lie. Don't fucking lie, alright? When you were younger, like, little girls, they fantasize about their wedding, what they're gonna name their kids, and like how many kids they want, and what car they want, like what kind of house do they want when they're older. For me, it was like I used to think a lot about what I would name my kids when I was little. I always thought, what am I gonna name my kids? Like, and like sometimes I would write down like lists and stuff, and I loved his name, and honestly, like I considered it. But like, I mean, I don't have a kid, so, but I did consider it, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm in love with his name. But yeah, that's the thing. So I just thought I'd share that little fact with you guys, but don't think I'm crazy, okay? Because I know you guys did that too when you were younger, so don't even lie. Don't even come up in my comments like, you're a freak. Don't you dare, okay? Because I know you guys did that too. So from that day on that we met, Facebook was really popular. Like I said before, it was really popular at that time. So we started messaging each other, and we just found out that we had so much in common. We had so much of the same interests, and we just hit it off so instantly. I just remember him telling me, like, you're so amazing. Like, why haven't we talked sooner? Like, I feel like I'm missing out, you know? I feel like I can see that text, that message in my head, and it just like makes me feel so happy every single time, because like I remember him saying that and I felt the exact same way. I'm like, where have you been all my life? Like literally, it wasn't like romantic. It wasn't like, oh my god, I love you. Like, no, but it was like where have you been all my life? Like, you're so amazing. You're such an interesting person, and I really wish that I had been your friend sooner. We just really hit it off. And since we had English together, it sort of like made us grow closer, because he sat at the table right across from me. I remember the teacher would give us like the first hour or the first 30 minutes to read to ourselves in the beginning of class. And I remember, you know, as a kid, my attention span was like this. So obviously, once I would grow bored, I would look around the room. There would be a lot of times where I caught his eye. I would look over at him and be like, just looking at him, you know, just looking at him. And he would be he just so happened to glance at me. We caught eyes and, you know, we would laugh about it. We had this little game that we would play where when we would lock eyes, we would have to stare each other down, and whoever laughed first lost. So the goal of the game was to just stay as serious as possible. So we were literally just like here in class, just like, I just could not stay serious. There was just something about him, I just could not stay serious for the longest time, and he would be staring at me like this. On the other side, I'd be here like this. I would just be laughing, and like, I just thought that was really cute. Like, that was our little game that we would play. It would just make me laugh so easily, and I would just be like, damn, he's my best friend. Like, he's my best friend in the entire world. You know how like when you're a kid and like you don't know anyone, when you're in kindergarten, you don't know anyone on your first day of school, and then you meet that one person and you're not so scared anymore, and you're like, hi, like, what's your name? And you tell each other about yourselves, and then you're best friends, like, for life. Well, not always, but like, you're best friends. That was how I felt. I felt like a little kindergartner, and I felt like I had met my first friend, and I felt like this. So as time went on, I realized that those feelings of oh my god, I found like this really cool friend that, you know, I love hanging out with and love talking to. Those feelings turned to actual feelings, and I started to like him. And it was really confusing for me at the time because I had a boyfriend. Remember Chase? Yeah, I forgot about him too, but I had a boyfriend, and I did love Chase. I did, but my heart was just so much closer to Andre. I just knew in my heart that that's who I wanted to be with. There should never be a time when you're in a relationship and you're talking to someone else or thinking about someone else. It's not fair to anyone. It's not fair to yourself. It's not fair to your significant other. It's not fair to the person you're talking to. It's not fair. That is exactly what I believed. And so I told my very best friend about this. I told about 2 other people about this to get more opinions on it. And I said, look, I know that I'm with Chase, but I really, really, really like Andre, and I want to break up with Chase because I don't want to lead him on. I just want to leave him, you know? Like, I know that in my heart I want to be with Andre. And I remember this one bitch was like, oh my god, no. Literally, I was like, why? Like, what's the problem? She's like, you and Chase are gonna be together forever, and you're gonna get married, and you're gonna have kids, have a future together, don't ruin that. I just didn't get the feedback that I wanted to hear from my friends. Like, I thought I could trust in them to support me in this decision that I made, and I mean, it was a hard decision, but I chose what I wanted. Like, I knew in my heart that's what I wanted, but I didn't get that support. And so, you know, as a 15-year-old, I was too scared to branch out and to not listen to what everyone else thought, not listen to everyone else's opinions. So I stayed with Chase, and I tried to make the best of that, and I just tried to, like, not stop entirely talking to Andre because I just couldn't. There was no way I could give him up, but I just needed to distance myself. I needed to get those feelings out of my head and out of my heart. And that was something that was really hard for me to do because from the very beginning, I was already so attached. Time went on, and I tried to only focus on Chase. Because we were around 14 or 15, we didn't really have permission to go out to places with each other. He never told his family about me. He never told his parents about me. Hello, red fucking flag. But I mean, I didn't think anything of it because I was like, oh, we're kids, like his parents don't want him dating or something, you know? So I didn't think anything of it. I remember that me and my best friend were gonna go on a little double date with Chase and one of his close friends. Let's call his close friend Ricky, just to spice it up a bit. So Ricky was not the cutest boy in the world, but my homegirl, Daisy, she took a huge fucking bullet from me, and she went with me, and she did not like him at all. So she was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go, and that's it. It's not a date, blah, blah. We went, and I went with Daisy, and we were sitting there at the movie theaters, and I remember just getting a text saying, I can't come. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, we're already ready, we're here, like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And I feel like he just kind of blew me off. He said he couldn't come because of his parents, and then he kind of stopped talking to me for a while. And then, like, later on in the night, he started talking to me, but at that point, I was like, I don't want to talk to you right now. I remember I was like so sad and so crushed, and my friend was there. Of course, she didn't want to see me sad, so she hit up the guy that she actually liked, and we'll call him Marcus. The crazy thing is that Marcus and Andre are brother-in-laws, which means that Marcus's brother is married to Andre's sister. And if you know who I'm talking about, hi. Yes, this is what happened. Isn't this crazy how everything like works out? So Daisy had already been texting Marcus that afternoon, and so she was just like, hey, come to the movies, you know? And it was like a hit or miss. It was like, if he comes, he comes. If he doesn't, then he doesn't. Marcus and Andre were always hanging out together, so she knew that if he went to the movies, that he would most likely bring Andre. And she knew that if Andre came, I would just be through the roof. I'd forget all about Chase, not be sad anymore. I remember at the time, Daisy and I were playing those little racing car games at the theater's arcade. I remember I could not play those games for the life of me. I'd always crash rush into things. I'm over here driving and then I turn around and I see Andre and Marcus, and I wasn't sad anymore. Just by looking at him. It was like seeing my knight in shining armor coming to rescue me from being sad. After the movie finished, we had a really great time and we didn't want the night to end. So the theater that we went to had a shopping center near it, and right there was like Kmart, McDonald's, Carl's Jr. For the rest of the night, we walked around the town and we just had a really great night. So after that, of course, my mind was all about Andre again. It was like, Andre. At this point, I was kind of just like, fuck Chase. Like, throughout this time, it felt like my heart knew all along that I was supposed to be with Andre. Like, my heart was like, girl, like, drop that bitch, like, drop Chase, forget about him, and like, be with, you know, Andre. I'll get into it later on in the video, but it wasn't the right time for us, and that's very prevalent in the story. It just wasn't the right time for us in middle school. Now, my heart was all about Andre again, and that was something that was inevitable. I believe that was something that couldn't be helped. As much as I tried, it was something that could not be helped. At this point in time, it was December, and it was really close to the time that we were gonna leave for winter break for school. And I remember that I just wanted to give Andre a present. I didn't expect anything in return. I just wanted to show him how appreciative I am for him being such a great friend to me, for him always making me laugh and smile and just always making me so happy. I just wanted to show him that I really cared about him. And also I kind of wanted to hint like, I'm in love with you, but you know? So I decided to buy us matching rings. The ring came in a white ring and a black ring, and I gave him the black ring and I kept the white ring for myself. And engraved in the ring, it said, I heart my BFF. Why I thought this was a good idea, I don't know, but I thought it was a good idea. And I found out that to this day, he still has that ring. And I didn't remember to ask him, but I'll try to get a picture of it and I'll insert it right here. I just think that's so amazing, like, for him to keep that after all those years. To give you a little bit more detail, when I was in middle school, I did not live in the same city as the school that I went to. I lived about 20 minutes away from my school. When I needed to go home with my friend, which was almost all the time, my mom would pick me up from her house. We would ride the bus back to her house. So when I would ride the bus to her house, I would sit with Andre on the bus. And I remember it was the last day of after school before we went on break, and I pulled up the box and I gave it to him. And I said, here, like, Merry Christmas. And then he opened it and he saw that it was 2 rings. The crazy thing is that we actually placed it on each other's ring fingers. I just literally died. Like, I was like, can you just like be with me already? Like, seriously. That happened and he was just like, oh my god, like, that's so nice of you, like, thank you. After that, I just remember putting my head on his shoulder and just waiting for the bus to stop at my friend's house, and I just did not want that bus ride to end. I didn't expect to see him over break, but we didn't see each other, and then we started to not talk anymore. He didn't really message me a lot, and so I didn't want to be like annoying and all the time message him first and be like, oh hi, like, how are you? Even though I really wanted to, but I didn't. Slowly and more slowly, texts started to be non-existent, and soon they were just gone. They just didn't happen anymore. We just didn't talk, we didn't text. I didn't know what I did. I never got an explanation. We just stopped talking, and I was really hurt by it. I had opened up my heart so much to him because, yeah, I liked him, but he was really my best friend in the whole world, and he just kind of like broke my heart because he stopped talking to me, and I didn't know why. Time went on. The rest of 8th grade, it was just me and Chase, and we were just working on our relationship. We just focused on us, and it was good for our relationship. And then we promote from 8th grade, and we go into our freshman year of high school. And I haven't talked to Andre since, but it turns out that I have my PE class with Andre. And just keep in mind that we haven't spoken for over, what, like 7 months? Seeing him standing like 2 feet away from me was honestly like plunging into ice cold water. It hurt me. Just seeing him was sort of refreshing, but it kind of like stung a little, and I was like, oh, I want to talk to you, but like, I don't know what I did for you to like not talk to me ever again. So I just left it how it was, and you know, we're just acquaintances. But then he got a girlfriend, and I knew that even though we hadn't talked at all, he got a girlfriend, so I knew that it was definitely time for me to just like forget about him like altogether, because I knew that if I started talking to him again, I knew that those feelings would still be there somewhere inside me. So I didn't want to mess with anyone's relationship, so I boxed him up again and I put him on the top shelf all the way back, and I left him there. And when I tell you that I never have drama with anyone, I never start drama, I never have beef with anyone, I really truly mean it. And when I say this, I'm not trying to talk shit about anyone, I'm not trying to spread false accusations, I'm truly saying what happened and what I truly felt. And this bitch was a conniving, fucking jealous ass, fucking piece of shit ass bitch. Like seriously, I have never met someone so cunty in my life. And usually when I say cunty, I'm like, oh my god, like that's so cunty. Like I never say that, but like, you know. And I'm so sorry if you don't like cussing, if you don't like vulgarity. Sorry, honey, but this girl was literally the biggest bitch to me for no reason. I had never spoken to her, never looked at her the wrong way, I never did anything to her, but she hated me. She just hated me. And I guess it was because she found out that me and Andre had been friends. I don't fucking know, but I don't know why she would get jealous because we didn't even talk, but I had to incorporate that because it is part of the details and the backstory. But anyways, that's for another video. So we fast forward to sophomore year and I'm still with Chase, but our relationship is really getting rocky. Then one day he just broke my heart. When I was with him for 2 years, and obviously that means that I'm invested. If I wasted 2 years of my life on you, obviously that meant I was in love, you know? And literally it was like I had wasted my time all over my forehead because he just so wasted my time. I was still like really hurt about it. And then once again, here we are with the summer love. I remember I was with my best friend and we were literally in my backyard and we were having a mud war. And if that doesn't say anything about us, then I don't know what you're doing here. But yeah, so we were having a mud war and I remember I went into my room. I had already changed, I believe, and I went into my room and I went to go check my phone and I see on my notifications that I have a friend request and I look at it and it says Andre. I flip out. I run to the restroom, bang on the door because Daisy's in the restroom changing. I bang on the door and I'm like, Daisy, get out here right now. And then like her ass is like half naked. She peeps open the door. She's like, hello, like, can I help you? And I'm like, look bitch, like, look at my fucking phone, look at my phone. And she's like, oh my god, like, you know, we're just having this moment, we're like flipping out. And I'm like, what do I do, what do I do? She's like, well, accept it, like, done. So I accepted it and then I requested him back. And then I would post pictures and he would like them. And I'm like, so like I kind of put him to a test and I was like, okay, look, I'm gonna post a picture and let me see if he likes it. So I would post a picture and he liked it, and he would like it like not fast, but like, you know, like, I was like, okay, you know what, if I post this picture and he likes it, I'm gonna message him because I was tired of waiting around. And Andre is such a sweet person. I knew that he would never message me or friend request me if he wasn't in a relationship. I knew that he probably felt the same way that I did. That if he talked to me again, that he would start to have those feelings for me again, and that's not a good thing to have when you're in a relationship. So I knew that he wouldn't message me unless he was single. But I just knew in my heart that he was single. I knew that he wasn't in a relationship anymore, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna message him. Before I messaged him, like, I was so nervous. But I was like, you know what, I don't want to send a long message and be like, hey, how you been? Like, why'd you stop talking to me? Like, I didn't want to risk my feelings being hurt if I put all that time into a message that he would never respond to. So I just played it safe and I wrote, hey, with a smiley face. And literally within seconds, I saw those 3 little dots saying that he's forming a sentence. And I just was so happy. Just excitement rushed through my body and I was just so happy. And then he messages me and he's like, hey. And so we start talking again and it literally felt like we had never stopped. And I'm not even kidding. It felt like we had never stopped talking and it was such a beautiful thing. We started talking nonstop every day and we decided to catch up. So I believe I was the one that initiated it and I said, hey, let's go to the movies, like old times. And so he was like, yeah, let's go. And during that time, it was when the movie If I Stay was around and it was like, everyone was like, oh my god, go watch it, go watch it. So I was like, let's go watch that movie. Kind of like Like, I want to see where this goes, and kind of because like I wanted to see the movie. And we watched the movie, and he was so nervous, and I was so nervous, and it was so cute. And then we accidentally ended up holding hands. It just felt so natural. His hand was here, and my hand was here, and our hands got close to each other. And I literally remember doing one of these. It was like this, and I went like this, and then I literally backed off. I backed off, and then I was like, you know, like I was scared, but I put my hand back there, and he just grabbed it. And I was like, bitch, we holding hands! Like, that was such a big thing for me. Like, I was so happy. And so we held hands, and then we went to Starbucks, I believe, because there was a Starbucks down the street after the movie ended. And then we came back to the theater because that was where my mom was gonna pick me up, and she was here for me. So I said, okay, well, I'm gonna go. Like, I had a good time. Like, thank you for everything. As I was leaving, he pulled my hand and he pulled me in and he kissed me. And I was like, I could not believe it. And I was just so in shock. And I was like, okay, bye. And we started talking more and more. And, you know, it just became so obvious that we were meant to be with each other. We went back to the movie theaters another day, and he asked me out. He gave me this little speech, and like, you know that I've always liked you. I've always wanted you to be my girlfriend, etc. Well, will you be my girlfriend? And I'm like, yes. So yeah, so then we started dating. I have never been one to talk about my relationships with my family, with my mom. I've always been very secretive about it, very private about it. And with Andre, right away I told my mom, and I was like, you have to meet him, he's perfect. And we were just talking about it, and then she met him and she really liked him. And I remember one day we were sitting in the kitchen and I was talking to her. She's like, tell me more about Andre. I just had this never-ending smile on my face, and I was telling her how we met and everything that we've been through and how he makes me feel. And she asked me, like, do you see a future with him? And I did not hesitate. I said yes. She was the one that initiated it. She was like, oh, like, you guys are something about marriage. I forgot what she was saying, but she said something about like marriage. And like, it was like she already felt it in her heart that like he was a good person for me. She was telling me, like, when you know that you found the right person, you just know. And that's what I've been telling you guys from the beginning. Andre has made me so happy. Like, why am I gonna cry? I have had so many struggles, like not with him, in no way, shape, or form. We have been absolutely amazing. But I have had a lot of like, I'm crying. I've had a lot of family issues this past year, and he's really been there for me. And I'm sorry, like, you know how I remember like flashback when I told you that I was a crybaby? Replay. So yeah, he's been there for me for everything, and I'm just so appreciative, and I'm just so certain that I found the love of my life. We click. We're not even opposites. Well, in some cases we're opposites, like in like food or something. In our hearts, we have the same heart. And like I was saying earlier, the reason why I'm glad that we did not date in middle school was because it was just not our time. I feel like if we were to have dated in middle school, we wouldn't have lasted. Maybe we would have lasted, but I feel like we would have had, you know, more issues because we were so young. I feel like we needed that little break when we didn't talk anymore to really just grow as people individually. And now that we had that time, I feel like that was exactly what we needed. We needed to grow in order to grow together. And I'm so thankful that everything played out the way it does. And if you're going through something right now, if you're having like boy issues or something, just know that everything happens for a reason. There's always gonna be something in your life that's gonna be hard, but you will always come out with something better, something greater, something that'll make you stronger. There's always good in the bad. And yeah, it sucked that he stopped talking to me. It sucked that we weren't friends for like a year, for like 3 years actually. But we're together now, and we've grown so much together. He's taught me things that I didn't even know existed, that I didn't even know were possible. But yeah. So that is my story time for you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you aren't already, because I make new videos every week. I also made a vlog channel, and I'll leave the link to that down below. But yeah, it would mean the world to me if you guys subscribed. And I just I love you guys so much, and I hope you have an amazing week. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.